Good afternoon. This might be a bit of a short video depending on how it goes. So I wanted to talk about something specific. Now, I through, sometimes I'm actually talking to different people in the legal world, illegal world, doesn't matter. I kind of felt like some people had formed a particular opinion, and I'm going to get into that. Now, it was asked to me by one of the, not the arresting officers, but an officer who was at the police station. And he asked me, he said, when you robbed that bank, or prior to robbing that bank, did you do cocaine? And now I remember specifically asking me if I did cocaine. And he may have asked me about other drugs that may, I don't remember in particular. I faintly do feel like he asked me about a couple other drugs. I remember cocaine, okay? Either were you high on cocaine or anything like that. I told him no. I told him that I was 100% sober. He said, okay, that's really odd. That was his reaction. Well, that's really odd. Now, here's the thing. Now, to me, this is what I think the public felt. Because it was a public issue. I mean, I did rob that bank in broad daylight. I did get away. Did my getaway in broad daylight. I was arrested in broad daylight. And it was on the news, online, and I don't know about the newspaper. I found it online, but I found the online version of the newspaper. The online, it has both news and print. The particular it wasn't even in the other city. Okay, it wasn't just in my city. It was in a neighboring city too. In their article that I had robbed that bank, I was arrested by 6 police cruisers. I think around 6 police cruisers, maybe 12, a dozen police officers. And they came wrong way into the intersection. Like they were coming from the opposite side, so they were in the wrong lane. So they had closed the lane down. They arrested me there. So definitely the community knew. I mean, there's no way the community would not know. It was in the community news, even in the city next door to us, in our city and the city next door to us. It was on the news. The community definitely know. Now, I've heard different things, right? I've heard different things, and you gotta understand, it's not like I was living in a goddamn birdhouse. I've been to that courthouse, which is a central courthouse for I think about 3 or 4 cities. And I've been to jail, obviously. On 4 different occasions for short stays. But I have been to that courthouse, like not from jail. From jail, I've been to that courthouse, I don't know, maybe at least 10 times. I from jail and to the courthouse back and forth. I've been to the courthouse at least 10 different occasions. I'm talking about going in while on bail or house arrest from outside, while being outside. I've been to jail. I don't know, maybe 20 times in total, getting remands or going for this. It's mandatory visits or whatnot. You have to go there for mandatory stuff. But I've been to jail. I've been to the courthouse, not from jail, like while being outside, about maybe 15 times at least, or at least a dozen times, at least 12 times, if not 20, 22, 23 times. I've been to the courthouse so much. So the courthouse is packed typically. You go there, when you get to your particular courtroom. Well, for me, when I got to my particular courtroom, there was no place to sit. There were so many people that all the pews, I don't know why I'm calling them pews. I know in church you call the benches pews. They were like pews, church benches. And they were so full that some people had to stand. Okay, some people had to stand in the back, because there was no place to sit. All right. So I've been around a lot of, and by the way, those visits weren't 2-minute visits. Sometimes, like I got there at 9 a.m. and they didn't even do my thing till like 2 or 3 p.m. That's level 0. Okay. For all those idiots that don't understand, that's level 0. I've seen guys go in to do a jail stint and they're with like 9 other guys who have been charged together. And they got and some of the guys, like they have money because they've been working together for a while. They got money and they're able to pay for lawyers and stuff. and I'm talking about good lawyers, by the way, right? I didn't have that. You know what I mean? Like this is real level zero. Okay, this is somebody from level zero doing a bank robbery, getting into the system, repeatedly going to court, not having money for bail, not having nothing. Okay, not having nothing. Not only that, but they were treating me worse than everybody else. It was like, and I'm not joking. It literally got to the point, and this wasn't a city issue or a country issue. This was an international issue, at least states included. And at least 4 or 5 other countries included, where what they were trying to do was they had already managed to put people who were on murder charges or murder convictions, they had already managed to put them above bank robbers. And what they were really working on was they were trying to get the rapists to get above the bank robbers. Now, I don't know if they achieved it or not, but they were trying to get the rapists, and they were trying to elevate rapists, men who were in there for rape, to be above the status of bank robbers. And I'm not joking about that. They were actually doing that. I came to hear about some kind of crazy legendary guy who got 7 years. Apparently, he did a bank robbery as his first offense. Apparently, he seemed to intimidate a lot of people. Apparently, he was a lot like me. Apparently, they felt like I was like him. From what I heard, when he got in, now I don't know if this was in the 90s or what, but this guy, I don't even think he's alive anymore. He did his time in the 90s or something, or 80s or 90s. They apparently tried to do the same thing with him because he was so hard, so intimidating, so self-made, so self-built, so strong, and so fearless that it was almost like jealousy that how can one man do that? How can one individual on his own make that happen? How can one individual make so many different things happen? Especially a guy who's not connected to any crime family, to any crime syndicates. How is he able to do that on his own? It's absolutely ridiculous to them, right? They were trying to do it in his era. Okay, now apparently the guy did it 7 years and he was out, or he was out in 5 years. Either he was out in 5 years. I think he committed to 7 years and he was out in 5 years, and he took a flight and he went to Europe, and they never saw him again. He never came back to North America. He took a flight to Europe, never came back again. They didn't want him to come back, by the way. They wanted him to get, because they weren't able to achieve what they wanted to achieve. Now, apparently during his time, murderers did the same thing. They put murderers higher than the bank robbers. Knowing that that's not an international system, they did that. They also did try to get rapists. They weren't able to achieve it. Apparently, they tried to get rapists above. Apparently, they weren't able to totally systemically achieve that in my time either, to get rapists to be above me. So, I mean, the guy was bald. That's all I know. I kind of know what he was a bald dude. Okay, that's all I really know about him. I don't know anything else. I've heard stories and whatnot. I don't know that much about him, right? But that's the situation. Now, I'm not gonna get into any more of that, but I want to go back to the point, and the point I was trying to make when I started talking about this was that they were thinking that, okay, obviously they were gonna try to say that I was crazy. It got to the point that the entire city, the feds were alerted, obviously, because it was a federal crime, but the entire city was aware, right? The city area was aware. I think they were aware all the way to New York. Okay, by the way, you can drive from Toronto to New York in like 9 hours or 8 hours. Anyways, it got to the point that I believe that they were intimidated, they were scared, and they were worried. And I'll tell you what worried them. It wasn't, you see, somebody high on cocaine, somebody was very angry, somebody was, that's a different situation. And they deal with it. Because there's a lot of people in that boat. A lot of people go in for manslaughter, or a lot of people go in for assault. A lot of people go to jail for assault. They just punch somebody out because they were mad. The guy was doing this, doing that. They had a beef. He punched him out. He hit him with a weapon. Whatever the case is, right? That happens typically. For some reason, that seems to happen quite a bit in the city that I was from. A lot of violence happens, and a lot of assault charges, and a lot of assault charges happen. But, and they happen like every weekend at least, or if not every day. But anyways, So that I was away from all of that. And the fact that I wasn't on any kind of, and I wasn't on anything. Like, I was not on anything. Like, I know for at least 2 or 3 weeks prior to that, I had not even consumed a drop of alcohol, not even a toke of weed, no pills, no nothing. You know what I mean? And I didn't, obviously, you know, in many, but when I went to Colombia, somebody gave me a tip on a drug that they used in Nazi Germany. Okay, and it was legal in Colombia. Anyways, we're not gonna get into that. It was like, anyway, we're not gonna get. It was a military drug. Okay, right? So I was taking a military drug, not a lot. I bought a little pack of it. I took it for a few months, and I didn't take it up till you know, maybe even 3 months prior to that robbery. So I was sober. Now this is what scared. That's primarily that's primarily what scared them. What scared them was not my ability to lose control in a situation and become violent. Their fear was that I was plotting in my mind. Like, to me, like listen, that was a first-degree bank robbery. That was not second degree. That was not hot-tempered. That was a first-degree bank robbery. And I want you to understand that. Because what they were scared about was the fact that I threw threats out there, right? And rather than, you know, just lose it like that, I elevated to this point. So they were afraid that what else can he be capable of? What else can he do? What else can he be capable of? If he's capable of plotting, like, rather than get angry and lose his shit, he starts plotting, you know, high level, like, bank robberies and stuff like that. And that's just where he's starting. Who knows where he's going to be in the future? If he's able to do that now, what level will he be at in the future? That's really what scared them. Not that the guy was crazy, he's losing his head, he has a temper. No, it's the fact that he starts plotting through anger. You know, his anger sets him up to plot. Versus, oh, we got to do this. Oh, I got to start crying. I got to start yelling. You know what I mean? I didn't have any of those traits since I was a baby. I wasn't a crying baby. I wasn't a complainer. Nothing. You know, I remember being a little kid and I asked my mother, or the mother that was taking care of me. I asked her, I was maybe 5 years old. And I asked her, I said, I really want some milk. It was nighttime. I said, I really want some milk. I haven't had milk for a few days. Is it possible that I can get milk? And she told me, she said, the grocery store is closed now. I can't get you any milk. And I didn't cry. I didn't complain. I didn't swear. I said, okay. You know what I mean? I have another funny memory about her. One night, I was watching a vampire cartoon or a vampire show. And she goes to me, this is a scary thing. You shouldn't watch this. You're going to have nightmares with vampires in them. Okay, so don't do that. And I said, okay, it was late at night. You know, it was a weekend. I went to sleep and I had a vampire dream, which was crazy, you know. Anyways, that's a memory I remember. But back to the point, I was never a complainer. I was never a crier, you know. And I know that some people say that all people who are abused are like that, blah, blah, blah. I don't know about that, but I mean, I may have been at level 0, so I'm put in the bag with those people, but I wasn't a complainer or a crier. And it wasn't about getting even either. It was a very complex situation. And it was dealt with in a very complex manner. And that's all it is. Final words. That was the whole point. The fact that, you know, sometimes it does not fear the feds, or the feds don't fear, or people don't fear somebody who will lose his head and slap somebody or beat somebody up. Okay? They more fear somebody who will start collectively putting ideas together. They were fearful that I would start influencing people in there. And okay, one last story before I end it off. I was in the police station. I think it was daytime, nighttime, I don't remember. There were 2 guys in the cell. One was young, one was older. They were sitting across from each other, sitting there. They were in the other cell. And the younger guy goes, rob all the banks in Canada. Rape all the women in Canada. And I didn't say anything. Except a little while later, I was listening and I was quiet the entire time. But I said one thing, and I said, well, I said I've never advocated for rape. And then he kind of went quiet. That was it. Anyways, I'm done. Good afternoon again. And that's it.